I am a Russian Sudanese American in this conference, and to me, Fort Ross represents a way in which Russians integrated with America, with the United States, early on. I'm currently living in New York, and I tend to go to Brighton Beach a lot, which is another Russian enclave in the United States. But it's really fascinating to see how over 200 years ago, Russian community was already building its roots in the United States, and I think it's kind of a surreal experience to be able to witness that and to take part in it and see how other Russians integrated themselves into the United States. I think the mission of SURF is to sort of foster U.S.-Russian cooperation, and I think because so many Russians came to Fort Ross in order to build international trade cooperation, this really does have a similar kind of focus, and it offers a hope, I think, that these kinds of relations are going to continue and be productive.
So when people think about U.S. and Russia relations, we think about the Cold War and kind of the bitterness there, but really if you trace it back, Fort Ross is really the start of our relationship, and it's been a fruitful one. We've been able to establish this great park together, and we've been able to work together to really make this place a place to enjoy for both of our generations, and for many generations to come. In essence, without the collaboration between the U.S. and Russia, we wouldn't have this great building here. And so it's important to remember that despite however our political relationships might be, at the end of the day, when both of us come together and decide that we want to build something, we can do it.
Well, for me as a Russian, Fort Ross is a great place because, well, I walk these valleys and the shores. I've seen this fortress, and what I think as a Russian and as a historian is how that our nations are connected, and how like I would say that Fort Ross is a sign of U.S.-Russia relations, because these 5 days we spent in Stanford and we spent with our American mates, and to me this place is a kind of the greatest collaboration, because we found it and many nations lived here, but now it's in America, and still like our traditions and this fortress, it's still in safe, and some people develop it. It's all about people. And well, when I was working there, I felt something like not. I felt calm, and I felt that. Well, again, I will use the verb feel. I feel that I have roots in this place, and it really gives me some energy to think my life through, my aims, my objectives. Well, I love this place.
So I found it most fascinating at Fort Ross that 200 years ago that there was a Russian colony here that was collecting furs and sending meats and different supplies up to Alaska. And I think most Californians, I was born and raised in San Diego, but I don't think most Californians know that Russia had such a strong presence here. And so I think understanding the current relationship with Russia, it's important to understand the rich history and the role that Russia has played within, for example, the Civil War, providing a blockade in Hawaii so the British wouldn't interfere with our Civil War.
We as a group here are people who are very invested in trying to nurture these relationships between the two countries, and who probably, myself definitely and others probably, seek to be agents of change. And people who have come here, we're also seeking change in their lives.
The best part about the SURF program is it provides a window into American culture that I think many Russians aren't aware of. Fort Ross is a perfect example where Russians can see their roots see the history of the Orthodox Church, the history of the architecture, and I think it's really a miraculous part of the program.
Different people, talking to people from Russia, all over the country, and exchanging ideas with them. It was also a good experience to listen to exciting speakers talk about policy, which is not a background that I'm from, but it was still exciting to hear these people and gain insight from them. In addition, we also got to visit local organizations and help them and to promote and preserve cultural and historical heritage.
And we're so grateful for Renova Fort Ross Foundation for sending the surf crew this way, and we're grateful for each and every of you surf delegates that come here, and officers too, we'll give you a little credit. And we really appreciate the work you've been doing this last year, yes, and bringing that momentum here to a crescendo and your last farewell and giving back to California State Parks and Fort Ross Conservancy and to our shared heritage, this special shrine of Russia America. And not just Russia America, yes, the Alaskans were here, the native Californians, there were Siberians brought in the mix, Hawaiians, there were French, German, little United Nations, and we're continuing this now with your work, and not just your work, some of you did some work, many of you did some good work, and also, even if there wasn't a lot of work done with everyone, there was great camaraderie and friendship, and relations are better here than they are between Moscow and Washington right now. And may you grow and continue those relationships and continue planting seeds of peace and friendship and goodwill. So we always welcome you back. Don't forget us. Return. And do skoro, Deus. I hope to see you again soon.